jigsaw table. I will attach a jigsaw to a plywood board, and I want it to be easy to assemble and to disassemble. First, I put the jigsaw on the board, at a distance of 10 cm from the edge. And I center it on the board, in such a way that the sides of the jigsaw shoe are parallel to the sides of the plywood board. I will glue some 3 mm thick MDF pieces all around the jigsaw shoe. I put a long piece of MDF to each side, and I put a short one in the back of the shoe, and another one in the front of the shoe. I apply some glue on one face of the MDF pieces. I spread the glue and I put each piece of MDF in the right place. I press and I move them slightly, making sure I don't move the jigsaw shoe. And because the metallic shoe of the jigsaw is angled in the front, I decided to put there that piece of plywood. It will stop the shoe when I install the jigsaw. Otherwise, the saw shoe could mount on the 3 mm MDF piece. To fix the jigsaw to the board, I will use 4 like this. The bolt is 5 mm in diameter. When I put the nut beside the metallic shoe, the nut is slightly below the top edge of the shoe. Once I insert the bolt from the other side of the board, I will put a nut. And then I will put a big washer that should mount on the metallic shoe. On the big washer I will put a small washer, then a lock washer, and finally a wing nut. So I will mark where to drill the holes I need to insert the bolts. The nuts are a couple of millimeters away from the metallic shoe, enough to let the nut turn. Like that I make sure the nut will not get in the way of the jigsaw shoe when I install it. These are the marks I have to drill. Now I have the jigsaw between the long pieces of 3 mm MDF, with the front of the shoe a couple of centimeters away from the plywood block. And I mark right below the blade clamp mechanism. More or less there. Now I put a sacrificial piece of wood below the board, and with a 6 mm drill bit I drill the holes I need to insert the bolts. And with another drill bit, with a diameter slightly bigger than the width of the jigsaw blade, I drill a hole to pass the blade to the other side of the board. I turn the board and I sand it. I insert a bolt in the holes, and I draw the shape of the hexagonal head. But it is more precise if I mark the shape with that chisel. There we can see the difference. So with the chisel I mark the shape of the head on the holes. With the flat face of the chisel against the sides of the bolt head, I press the chisel to mark the shape on the board. And now, with the bevel of the chisel looking inside the hexagonal shape, I cut the hexagonal shape on the 4 holes. I cut until the head of the bolts is level with the board surface. I hit it using another bolt and a hammer, and now it is perfect, slightly below the board surface. I will use those strips to reinforce the plywood board, and I want them to protrude 2.5 cm the sides of the board, and I screw them to the board. I insert the 4 bolts in the holes. And I put the 4 nuts. And I tighten them, but not too much, because the head of the bolts stick in the wood in the other side. I clamp the board overhanging the side of my work table. I install the jigsaw blade. I pass the blade through the hole. I turn the jigsaw on. And I cut sliding the shoe between the MDF sheets until I reach the stop block. I put the big washers and the small washers and the locking washers. And now I put the wing nuts. I make sure the big washers are on the edge of the shoe, and I tighten hard the wing nuts. And now I can turn the board with the jigsaw attached to it. Now I realize that the cut is not parallel to the board sides. I think it happened because of the blade clamp mechanism. I think the best place to clamp this jigsaw table is on the corner of the work table, because I can put one side on the vise. It looks like it is very stable, so I will turn the saw on to see how it works. It has no problem when cutting a piece of 1 cm thick plywood. And if you think it can be dangerous, this is what happens if I let it go of my hands. Now I will push it against the blade. This can scare us, but I don't think it is too dangerous. It is very easy to cut and to follow a straight line in this 1 cm thick plywood. It is more difficult to cut the head of this strip, but I can cut it. But I have to press it slightly against the board, and if I let it go of my hands, nothing very dangerous happens. And it cuts this strip like a knife through butter. Thanks for watching. You can find all my woodworking videos in my channel. And if you like my videos, thanks for subscribing to my channel.